Hey guys, one of my favorite mysteries from that original 1979 Alien film has always been just what was that oddly shaped alien spacecraft. The craft would later come to be known as the derelict, a term for lost or abandoned vessels, yet not really a proper name for a type of spacecraft. It wasn't until Prometheus that we learned that the given name for these spaceships would actually be the Juggernauts. I have to admit I loved the name when I first heard it. When thinking of the Juggernaut, first I think of an unstoppable object, something with great and overwhelming force or resolve. The Merriam-Webster dictionary even goes so far as to say that the object would crush whatever is in its path. Now of course I also can't help but to think of the Juggernaut from the X-Men comics, who fits the description quite well. These ships are massive, well-built or well-grown tanks. They move through space and both spread and destroy the seeds of life. When you think of the mission of these chariots amongst the stars, the term Juggernaut is actually quite fitting. The other day I was rereading Alien Engineers, an early Prometheus script by John Spates. Now it's no question to me that the prequel movies, especially Prometheus, was full of religious connotations. I talk about this more in depth in my very first Alien video on the channel here, where I try to see who made the alien, and keep in mind that video came out before Alien Covenant. In Alien Engineers, there was a line by David that really stood out to me. He's talking about the engineer spaceship when he says, and I quote, "Juggernaut, the chariot of Krishna, was also the bringer of death, crushing his worshippers under its wheels." Now I know this is an early draft and not a script for the final film, but I really think this line is telling us where they came up with the Juggernaut name. As soon as I read this, I immediately googled the term Juggernaut, yet this time I added the phrase of Chariot of Krishna to the search. The results were stunning. Juggernaut, from which the term Juggernaut comes from, is a form of Vishnu who some see as a supreme being. The word itself literally translates to the Lord of the World, and is worshipped at the religious city of Puri in India, where a temple has stood to its testament since the 1100s AD. Many festivals are held at this temple each year, with the most important one being the Chariot Festival. Devotees would build enormous decorated carts or wagons containing the image of Juggernaut. These carts would reach over 60 feet high, and they would be so heavy that it would take hundreds of worshippers to even move it. These wagons would also be followed by thousands of pilgrims. This already sounds like a good parallel to the Juggernaut craft from the Alien franchise. These ships are piloted by beings that are able to create and destroy life on a massive scale. This power could make them appear as a god to many observers, especially to the humans that are made by the engineers, as stated in Prometheus. Well, the idea gets even better when you look at early European and other outside looks into this festival. The first description of this festival outside of India was contained in the travels of Sir John Mandeville. Here it was said that the Hindus practiced religious sacrifice, and that they would cast themselves under the wheels of these huge chariots, allowing themselves to be crushed to death instantly by the huge stone wheels of the Juggernaut. There are many other early writings that can attest to people being crushed under the wheels of these carts, but some have speculated that these deaths, if any really did happen, were accidental and caused by overcrowding near the Juggernaut procession. Now this extra bit of information to me only further solidifies the idea that this is where the term for the Juggernaut spacecraft came from. Sacrifice is a central theme for the engineers, while also being prevalent in the life cycle of the aliens. Even Ridley Scott himself has said that the Alien franchise contains a cycle of life, death, sacrifice, and punishment. These ideas go hand in hand with the early European, possibly biased views of the Juggernauts, along with its sacrificial devotees. So what do you guys think about this possible origin for the name of the Juggernaut vessels? Do you think I'm right on this one? Personally, I believe that this is where the name came from. The symbolism here is just too great to not be taken into account. Either way, it's better than calling the ships derelicts, although that name seems to have stuck for that particular craft from the first film. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, and as always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Thanks for all of your support. Your likes, comments, shares, and subscriptions are very appreciated. Take care, everybody, and I hope to see you next time.